So, so I'm David, Dean's fifth favorite son. I was just, I had written this thing, but then of course you speak and you go through sort of, this is who Dean was, and his mother is Lucille, and he marries Lucille, and he basically struggles with everyone's names. So I'm like, why not marry somebody who has the same name? It just makes it easier. So when I was in the hospital on Monday, I stopped over to visit, and it was different. You could tell that this is different. He was incredibly weak. So I just started singing, and I was like, oh, I don't know, let's start with the songs that were sung at my mom's funeral. So I started singing How Great Thou Art. And guess who joined in? Dean started singing with me. It was the worst, probably, singing. The nurses came running. Obviously, they thought something was good. I was hoping today that my son Tim would be here to sing and sort of fix what we sort of ruined, but they're stuck behind a terrible accident in the state of Indiana, which is a terrible, terrible place. I'm sorry, Keith. They could have gone to like a nice school in Champaign, but now they chose schools in Indiana, so you know what? They're lost. But the good news is, I think they might be watching us right now. I can't really believe we're here again celebrating a funeral. We're here to celebrate Dean. The great news is that we can't celebrate my dad without celebrating my mom. 68 years? I mean, come on. He needed to go home. They were a great team responsible for raising incredibly awesome sons. who married great women and had wonderful grandkids, which led to great grandkids. The fact that we're at a funeral and the guy has like a 20-year-old great-grandson like doing a reading. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. As my dad said Thanksgiving, we're the best family he had ever known. It was classic. I'm so happy that my dad has joined his parents, Lucille, his wife, Lucille, and his oldest son, Steve. And now many other old friends are up there as well. It's a great day. It's a happy day. But it's also sad. It's a big hole. Big hole. So this time I brought Mark up with me. And so I'm going to talk a lot. And he's going to talk a little. Pastor Ann summed up my dad's life and said, as simply as I can, my parents were about faith, family, and community. Simple as that. I have a couple items that we should have included in the obituary, and a little clarification on some other items. So if you were at the wake last night, we displayed some examples of his woodwork. The guy was amazing with his hands, and his creations ranged from Abraham Lincoln to a slithering snake, to a nameplate, to a magazine rack. You name it, he could make it with a piece of wood. Dean spent a lot of time in the shop proving that my dad is not stupid. It is a lot easier to raise 5 boys if you're in the shop making things, instead of dealing with one of the many incidents where one of my older brothers had done something mean to me. There was also a statement in Dad's obituary about cheating in cards. So let me give you the real scoop on this. There appears to be a lot of fake news going on. Two independent, believable sources, Rob Duffy, who spends time with him at No Lodge, and Mary Ann Taverner, who has been beaten by him at cards her entire life. At the hospital earlier this week, she was with me, and she said, "Your dad wins all the time." When I asked Dad over the years, the answer is, "I'm just really good." The awesome part is that he was a great winner. A great winner, not so much when he loses. When I would, in fact, so this was his comment that he made on a video, and he said, "When I win, I really let her loose." You can just see that face. So rumors of Dean's cheating had slipped into the public arena as some of the defeated competitors, Matthew, who did a reading earlier, was really concerned about sort of the fairness of play that was going on. There are even recordings that exist of grandsons raising this cheating issue. So my dad, he responded to that, right? He made a video. He denied that cheating straight away with a strongly worded statement. So this could have been the end of the cheating fiasco, but as it turns out, at his final stay at the hospital, he probably knew he was heading towards this day and having to go and talk to somebody about how do I get in here. That I think he basically admitted to a nurse, and her name is Erin, and it can be verified if it needs to be. He basically said, she asked him, "Dean, do you cheat at cards?" And his answer is, "Yeah." And then she asked him, she's like, "So wait, why doesn't anybody know that you cheat at cards?" He's like, "I was really good at it." So if there's anyone here today, or if you know others that are here, I didn't know. So it turns out that the roads weren't quite as bad in Indiana as maybe we thought. And there's nothing sweeter than, so we have a suit ready for my son Michael. And so it's in the car, but of course he's wearing a Cubs shirt. He didn't do anything better. So yeah, okay, so anyway, let me get back to where I was. So here's the deal. If anyone here thinks that they have been cheated at in cards and have lost money to my father, you're supposed to see Gary at the end of the We could not have a eulogy for my dad without talking about the Cubs and his family. And thank God, Claire, that you came in just in time for this. Find me a bigger fan, I dare you. He's the only guy that can become internet famous without a cell phone or a computer. Because when the Cubs won the World Series and his granddaughter Claire had the camera phone rolling, she caught him a moment of pure, unbridled joy that struck the hearts of sports fans around the world. Just listen. You could hear it. We did it, we did it, we did it! This small town guy in a video that has been watched well over 1 million times. It's stupid, crazy. My favorite part is that so much of the content that gets watched on the internet is just garbage. But this sweet video was just precious. The responses were so heartwarming. And he's told Claire any number of times about his many joys that came from that glorious night. He did not need, so we'll move on from the Cubs. He did not need to go on vacations because he had no lodge. At one of the family's Christmases, his granddaughter Grace started grilling him, asking if he's in secret society, and it's like, well, I'm in no lodge. And it's like, okay. So she did, so if there are any no lodge folks here, my daughter did uncover many secrets about the club. I think she just told me earlier today that she does have plans to move back to Fairbury, and she wants to be the first woman member. So I hope you're ready to change the rules. She is also coming to Fairbury, though, for a bigger charge, and that is to be Gary's number 2. And so the Cy Moser family. Cy had Dean. Dean had Gary. We have no next generation in Fairbury. So Gary, if Mary Grace, if you don't come back, Gary doesn't have a next generation. So if you're not coming back, we've got to start an interview process, because Gary needs somebody correcting him along the way. Because that's what the number 2 does. I know there are tons of accomplishments that were shared earlier. The way I put it is, he worked hard. He helped his kids get into their houses, into their first houses. And he loved giving back. Service was what he was about, and sharing what he had made, his wealth, with others was a critically important issue for him. But I don't want to really talk about accomplishments, because they come because of the soft stuff. I love the soft stuff so much more. Dean's charm exudes. As he transitioned through life, he would just use it to build a new team. It has been amazing to watch him at the nursing home. In fact, there's somebody here who I think works like maybe in the kitchen and became friends with my dad. My dad just he builds like this team. It's like all these people just came, from residents to staff to kids who visited. All were welcomed on Team Dean, and he enjoyed their company. Dean also started adding young kids onto Team Dean. It wasn't enough for all these just whoever. Dean got a new pen pal named Nolan. Nolan and his family were writing notes and drawing pictures, and they went to a concert with him. He loved it. Every time you would come to visit Dean or talk to Dean, he would tell you about his new friend, Nolan, and his family. Jeff Moser, who is related to me, and once again, because my mom is not here to tell us how Jeff Moser is related to me, I have no idea. But Jeff Moser is somehow related to my dad, and his kids, Corbin and Owen, were football players for Prairie Central. And Prairie Central had some amazing game where they came back and beat some top-ranked team in the state, whatever. They brought the Prairie Central football team to see my dad. And so the pictures were there, and my dad was, "This is awesome." He was thrilled to have his picture taken. And so I'm going to read you a little note from Jeff. Dean has followed our son Corbin for the last 3 years, cheered him on, and prided himself in sharing the same last name. Our 2 boys and 2 teammates went to see him on Friday before the game. They must have enjoyed it. They had barely finished celebrating on the field when the quarterback yelled out, "We got to get to the nursing home." Another teammate called out, "No kidding, Corbin's cousin is going to be so excited." 17-year-old boy 89-year-old man. When do you ever hear of high school boys getting that excited about seeing an old man? Turns out, maybe he wasn't an old man. Jeff then, he also has a son named Abram. And we had the pleasure last night of meeting all of these boys. In fact, before I leave the other one, the two boys were in a big wrestling meet that's going on. And we get a text from the dad at 8 o'clock saying they're done, they're coming back from Pontiac. And we said, come on over. And so these two boys, after wrestling, and they're probably exhausted, and now they're wrestling again right now, take the time to come and see my dad. It's crazy. So Jeff also has this younger son, Abram, cutest kid in the world. You'd take him home if you could. Here are Jeff's words that he sent after hearing that my dad passed. It was actually like the night that my dad passed. Somehow, Jeff Moser, who is somehow related to me, finds out that my dad's passed. I have no idea. Just got word of your dad's passing. We'll be praying for your family in the days ahead. My youngest son, Abram, was your dad's buddy at the home and would spend time in his room. Tonight, when he was going to bed, he was in tears thinking of your dad. He made an impact on a lot of people. So I'll close with this. One of my dad's greatest gifts to the world was his infectious smile. He could use that at any time to make a person feel just a little bit better. This is not to say that he never got mad or used his angry face. Gary? But when my dad smiled and threw in a little giggle, he could melt ice. It did not mean that he felt great that day, or that he wasn't anxious about something, or that he wasn't mad or sad. I think it was a lure. He was a fisherman, to bring him close and be part of his world. I think each of us, and this is the hard part about talking about my dad, each of us have our own special memories. I'm sharing you my perspective. But if you ever knew him, it was like he knew you. He knew about you. Each of us had unique, special relationships with him. The smile, the chuckle brought us in close so he could talk to us about us. On Thanksgiving weekend, he gave his family one last gift. Coming off a tough stay in the hospital and his body giving out, he rallied one last time for his family to give us our final words. You've been going so good to me, and you've been so good to Mom. Don't worry about me. It does so much for me to see these smiling faces. And I'm going to follow you as long as I live. Well, the great news for him is it's a little easier to follow now that he can get around them. Grandpa liked his kids. He loved his sister. He so much loved his daughter-in-laws, even though he struggled with your names. And he forgot about his grandkids and his great-grandkids. His body could not hold down that spirit. Dean, job well done. Give Mom a hug for us. We got this. So, I've shared this story, and now I'm going to have Mark come and share a perspective, sort of the final moments with my dad. So, Mark, it's your time.